Hi, Susan Niskotsky-Smith coming to you live, and it is Father's Day, so we're going to try to prep 5 meals in under an hour, and we're going to try to go through it really quickly so that you can get back to your spouses, your fathers, your grandfathers, and all of the important people in your life. King Charles, come around for a moment, please. My camera crew today and my person responding to live comments will be King Charles Smith.
Hi.
So welcome. We're going to give people time to log on. We haven't been live for a little bit. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Danette. King, you're going to have to call things out to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to try to see who it is. When I have been out of town in Indiana visiting my father, who is 85 years old, and my mother, who is 81. And while there, my father had some health issues, and it soon became clear to me that he would really benefit from the 5 dinners in 1 hour meal prep, in particular, the clean eating. However, I'm on the combo, the clean eating, the classic eating, and I think I got some of the hot lunch meals when I did a bonus sign up many months ago. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Susan Niskotsky-Smith, and we are approaching a 1-year anniversary in our household for the 5 dinners, 1 hour meal prep plan. In that year, we have saved money, we have cut down on prep time, we have had more time as a family, and I have lost about 37 pounds. King Charles, can you share with me who's joined us, maybe?
So far, we have Liz Marie.
Okay. Hi, Liz.
Cheryl Ward.
Hi, Cheryl.
Sydney said she's shaded, or she just put shaded.
Okay. Something is shaded? Is something shaded on... Charlie, can you come? Somebody's saying shaded. I don't know what that means. Can you all see okay? Janice Evans-Neely, can you see okay? And Debbie Niskotsky, who is my cousin, can you see okay? Somebody said shaded. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
So, whoever said shaded, is that just a comment, or are you having trouble
shared?
seeing?
I think they misspelled shared.
Oh, my bad. Okay, shared. You're sharing so that people know that we're going live. Okay, back to my little story. My folks are seniors, and I am approaching senior age. My husband is 61, and I just started to think how difficult it is in your senior years to meal prep for just 2 people. And sometimes you've lost your spouse and you're meal prepping for just 1. But then I thought we could still use the program and do 3 servings if we're prepping for 1 person, and bag them in 3 little separate containers, or those of you that don't like bags and recycling, we could put them in some, durable glassware or freezer-safe Tupperware. But we can still prep and we can still provide healthier eating. Now, as with any meal plan, before you make changes to your diet, please talk to your general practitioner or your internal medicine, or in the case of some seniors, your cardiologist, your kidney doctor. But I will tell you that everything I'm prepping tonight, except for 1 dish, is from what's called clean eating. That means less processed foods, less chemicals and additives and sodium in your food. And then I went ahead and I stripped it up and cleaned it even more, because I do low carb, low sodium for my diabetes and my heart health.
Miss Guidry is watching.
Hi, Mrs. Guidry. King Charles is helping me today, and he just lit up when he saw Regina Guidry on the screen. That is his principal from his elementary, and he is going to be a junior at Stephen F. Austin State University, studying to be an English teacher. So go Lumberjacks, Axum Jacks, right?
Yes.
I don't know how to do it. Axum Jacks. Okay. So I figured if I needed to clean up the sodium and the carbs for my diabetes and my heart health, that I could help my father, who's having some cardiac issues and some kidney issues, by making them low carb, low sodium, and also heart healthy. And what I mean by heart healthy is using those healthier, leaner proteins. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to prep is from the clean eating. and it is called Tangy Grilled Pork Chops. Now, I mark my bags with the date that I'm going to be putting them in the freezer, but I also mark them with an F for freezer friendly, and in this one I marked it low carb and skinny. To me, skinny is that low sodium, low fat, low carb, and heart healthy way of eating. Again, with any meal plan change, you should contact your physician and get permission. So what we're going to do is we're going to take
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you for...
She said, good job, King Charles.
He is doing a good job. He and my other son, Charles, always do a good job. So we're taking center cut pork chops. Center cut pork chops are a luxury in our house, but we will make them every once in a while, and this is because it's Father's Day. We're going to prep these, and by the end of our prep, we're going to actually put them in the oven. This is what Dale requested for Father's Day. The other ingredients for center cut pork chops are some spices and seasonings and orange juice. I didn't have any orange juice, but I had a jar of Sunny D, so I'm going to use that. So it says to add all my ingredients to a large Ziploc bag. Again, if you are the type of people that are not into using the Ziploc bags and you're more environment conscious, then you could prep and you could put them in a container like this that has a lid for storage in the fridge, or you can put them in glassware with a lid, which is this pan here next door. Okay, so it's calling for my orange juice. I need to get this orange juice in this bag for these tangy grilled pork chops. I am making 6 servings, not because Dale and I will eat all of that, but because with King Charles and Charlie both home, 6 servings is only going to feed 4 people. Both of my sons are going to do extras. Then we're going to put in, it calls for sea salt, or if you want Himalayan pink salt or regular salt. I am going to do very little salt because I want this really to be heart healthy. And to be honest, a lot of people wonder, when you watch chef shows, those chefs are always putting that salt on and everything, and they're saying, make sure you salt your food. And just like you, I've been wondering, if salt is so bad for us, and salt causes lots of cardiac issues, then why are we always salting foods, and why do chefs do it? And it's because they want to give it a good flavor. They want it to have an opportunity to sit and rest in that. It also calls for allspice. The problem with allspice is that sometimes allspice aggravates my sinuses or kind of makes me get really flushed in the face. So I'm not doing allspice. I'm actually doing what they call a 21 spice salute. It's called 21 seasoning salute. It has less of the things like cumin, chili powder, ginger that are in allspice, but it has some more of things like citrus seasonings, Italian seasonings, and it's just a good all-around general spice. So it's calling for allspice, it's calling for thyme, minced garlic, and chili powder. This is the thyme that I'm using right now. Depending on your tolerance for Italian seasonings, you can go with more or less thyme. And then it calls for my minced garlic. I get a big canister of minced garlic because it doesn't take my family but a short time to go through minced garlic. So again, we've got orange juice in here, we've got allspice or my seasoning mix, my 21 season salute. We've got thyme. We're going to add chili powder. I am going to put a little chili powder because, again, this is Dale's chosen meal for Father's Day. I am not putting all of the chili powder it calls for, and I am shaking very lightly with the light hand. Okay. Any questions, King?
Smells
from our
good.
Audience?
Whatever you just put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King Charles, and we call him K for King, C for Charles, Casey, has just told me that whatever I just put in smells good, and it's a combination of the garlic, the chili powder, and that 21 season salute. So we're ready to go with our tangy grilled pork chops. If you're the kind of person that enjoys grilling on a grill, these should probably be done on a grill. Or if you don't have an outdoor grill and you have apartment living, or you're just afraid to have an outdoor grill like I'm afraid to deal with charcoal, you could do a George Foreman grill. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting them in my broiler later near the top rack, and I'll put it on a low broil. And then I will cook them for about 18 to 25 minutes till desired doneness. They're quite thick, so I'm going to have to flip them halfway through. All right, well, thank you for joining us on that one. For those of you that are just joining us, we're doing 5 dinners in under 1 hour. We've done our first one, tangy grilled pork chops. Okay, we're moving on to the second one, King Charles. We're making one that King Charles chose now. It's called one pan fajitas. And you can do it with chicken, steak, probably pork. You could do it with barbacoa or some kind of lengua, tongue if you want it. And then we are doing it tonight with shrimp. I got a deal on some shrimp. So because I just prepped pork, I want to clean my hands really well. Pork and eggs seem to carry the most critters and bacteria. Anybody else joining us that we should be saying hi to, King?
Well, Denise joined and she asked what we were making. But
hi, Denise. We're making, and we've already made, tangy grilled pork chops, which kind of has an orange juice and citrus spice base. We're going to make 1 pan fajitas using shrimp. We are going to make Tuscan bean soup, which is intended for the slow cooker. We're going to make something that we discovered while I was at my folks' house because my dad really had to watch what he could eat. It's called crispy Parmesan chicken, and King Charles really loved it, so we're going to make some here. And then we're going to make cheeseburgers with cowboy caviar. So we're moving on to the second one. It's the Shrimp King. Y'all set with that one?
yes.
So we're going to use, it says 3 bell peppers, any color. And not because of flavor or not because of color, but because of price. I usually do 2 of my bell peppers as green, and I do the third either red, orange, or yellow, whatever's on sale that week. But again, I do 2 as green because green bell peppers are the least expensive to buy. King, do you remember when we took apart a bell pepper and on the inside we had like 3 or 4 babies?
Yes, I do.
We opened our bell pepper for trimming, and when we opened it up, there were little miniature bell peppers already formed inside the guts of the bell pepper. All I'm doing is slicing off the top that has the stem.
What will we be serving tonight with the pork chops?
Tonight with the pork chops, because we try to do low carb, heart-friendly food for Susan's diabetes and hypertension. I will be doing the tangy grilled pork chop with a side salad, and also I have some frozen zucchini that I had previously bagged as leftover that I will reheat. For the men in my life, I will be making them corn on the cob, and I will be doing a side of rice for them, some brown rice, which is healthier than the white steamed rice. But that's a great question. That's a great question. And again, if you're the kind of person that's into the grill, you could so easily do those corn on the cob with the husk on your grill. And then the Tuscan beef soup, I'm not really making it for a dinner, although it can be for a dinner because it's a great meatless option for those of you out there that are always looking for meatless. I'm actually going to do it because for an early lunch for Dale, where he can heat it on Friday, he's going to take off just a little bit early because he has the wonderful gift from his sister Diane of being taken to the Astros game Friday. So I'm going to make it for him so that he can have some Tuscan bean soup with some nice hot bread or some dinner rolls, and he will love it. All I'm doing is I'm putting those 3 bell peppers into my Ziploc bag, which is marked with clean eating because the shrimp fajitas are clean eating, which means that they are a lower calorie count, much lower sodium, much lower carbs, heart healthy, Susan friendly food. I know we haven't prepped in a while. Again, I apologize. Those last few weeks of school are always busy, busy, busy. And on top of that, I then had to rush to Indiana. My father had some issues, and I wanted to spend that time with he and my mother. So we spent some time there. And while there, we prepped some meals that were senior friendly, smaller servings, taking that 3 serving size or even a 6 serving size, prepping the entire size, but then splitting it into multiple containers, putting it in their freezer. Yes, sir.
Michelle has shared your video, so she can watch it later. She loves your videos.
Hi, Michelle.
Marge said hello.
Hi, Marge. Thank you. Welcome for watching.
Diana has liked this video, and Danette, did I pronounce?
Yes, correct.
She says you're teaching me the best job.
I'm teaching you the best job, which is cooking for your health. And actually, I know people joke out there. Y'all know I'm a teacher. And I know you joke out there, but I am a teacher. Once a teacher, always a teacher. Even when I wasn't in teaching, when I was in insurance, I was a professional trainer. So I've always been kind of a teacher. But the one thing about my sons is I want to teach them not only to be able to cook for themselves, I just want to teach them to be good men. You know, I want to teach them to be men that carry God in their heart, that honor family, that honor the home. This is a great opportunity for King Charles and I to bond, just like Charlie and I have been bonding for the last year. My 1-year anniversary for five dinners in 1 hour comes up in July. And if anybody knows, this time last year, we joined 5 dinners in 1 hour, and then shortly thereafter, we were all dealing with the hurricane and with flooding. So life was kind of stressful. All right, King, I've added the peppers, the purple onion. We now need to add all the next ingredients. It calls for my shrimp to be added. You want to go ahead and add your shrimp. This shrimp has been peeled, deveined, and cleaned. I'm putting it here. I want to add it before I add the spices so that the shrimp has an opportunity to marinate in those spices and not just be poured in on top of the spices. What's going on in the community, King? Talk to me.
Danette also said that teaching is the best job that is for Casey. I am a teacher like your mom.
Oh, yes. Well, Casey, why don't you share with them why we know you want to be a history teacher. We know history got kind of hard and stuff, and you still love history. But why English? I mean, English is unusual for men to choose as a career. And those of you that don't know our family, Casey's heritage is African American, and we really need African American males, leading males in English and in history and in high school. We just need those role models and mentors. So I couldn't be prouder that he's choosing that profession. Go ahead, King.
Just why English? Everybody.
Yeah, why English?
Everybody at least needs to know some proper English, to
Okay.
get through in life.
Okay.
Just helps out with everything, really.
Cilantro. I have to double check my measurement here.
Oh wow. Diane Savage is watching, and she's from Canada.
Hi, Diane. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to join us. So we put some cilantro in there. We're going to put olive oil. There's a place in Texas here called Lavender Farms, and they grow lavender and they sell lavender for food, lavender for bathing, lavender for your home. But they also sold this wonderful decanter for olive oil. I just love it. So we're putting some olive oil in here. And again, this is for shrimp fajitas. And it calls for lime juice, Doesn't call for balsamic. It calls for lime, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, and paprika. So, my son, King Charles, I'm glad I had the lime juice. I thought I didn't. One of them was lower, but it was actually the lemon juice that was lower because Casey likes to put lemon juice in his water. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there with similar tastes. All right, it calls for a variety of spices. I will tell you that if you have seniors or parents or even yourself and you're having issues with like GI distress or epigastric distress or ulcers and stuff, this is probably not the dish for you because it calls for cumin. Cumin tends to give a smoky flavor, but also some people report a spicy flavor. It calls for paprika, and paprika is not really spicy, it is definitely smoky. So we're doing cumin, we're doing paprika, we're going to do chili powder. I am not going to put very much chili powder at all. Again, I'm cheating towards my mild gut. So cumin, paprika, chili. It calls for garlic powder and onion powder. This is one time where you want to make sure that you're not using the minced garlic, but you're using the powder. Garlic powder is more dense, more concentrated, and it gives it more flavor. And then it calls for some onion powder.
Rita Poltz just joined us.
Thank you for joining us, Rita. I hope you're enjoying your Father's Day. So I have my olive oil, lime juice, chili powder, garlic, onion, cumin, paprika. That's awesome. We're going to zip this one up. We're going, oh my goodness, King, come smell. Come smell.
Okay.
Just, the smell is wonderful.
Doesn't
Doesn't it
smells
smell
really good.
wonderful? It just smells so good and so yummy. We are going to mix all those seasonings in. That olive oil, we'll mix it all in. Again, I've marked it as a freezable dish if we don't get to it fresh. Seafood is one of those things you'd like to do day 1 or day 2 of your week. If not, and it's freezable, pop it in the freezer. All right, King, we're moving on. We're going to move on to the cheeseburgers with cowboy caviar. It asks you to use pre-formed, pre-packaged hamburger patties. So that's not a problem. Everybody can do that. Everybody can handle that. And then we're going to make cowboy caviar. I've never made it, but it seems like it will be kind of easy. It calls for black beans, and then it also calls for black-eyed peas. Now, black-eyed peas are really a bean and not a pea. I poured them in my strainer here. I am rinsing them with water. The main reason I'm rinsing them, why, King?
So we don't have any trouble after eating them.
And what he means by that is a lot of the carbonation that they're canned in and a lot of the natural gases given off by beans can cause gas. And then it wouldn't be a happy Father's Day, it would be a happy Farter's Day. Get it? Do you get it, King?
Yes,
I'm funny.
Ira Rivers says she misses you and she shared your video.
Hi, Ira, and I have missed seeing you too, Ira, but we're kind of back on the scene. We're trying a new format, and then we're also going to be putting some one meal at a time videos on YouTube, and I will keep you all posted. So I am doing black beans, black-eyed peas. I need to do a tomato. I need to do some cilantro. I'm going to use what was left in the 1 cup. I also need to do a jalapeno. The jalapeno is optional, but I will tell you that my husband, Dale, loves spice, loves jalapenos. He really likes pickled jalapenos. So I think rather than wearing gloves and chopping a fresh jalapeno, I think I'm going to go with some pickled jalapenos. jalapenos have a little sweetness to them. They're a little milder on your gut. And I know that Dale will eat a pickled jalapeno. And I know that Susan and King Charles will eat a pickled jalapeno. Now our second son, Charlie, the one that y'all know that works at Taco Bell, he wouldn't touch a jalapeno to save his life. Which is fine. Different taste for different people. Those of you that are just joining us, we have already made tangy grilled pork chops. We've made shrimp fajitas. We are now making cowboy caviar. I feel like I shouldn't add the tomato. Do you like chopped tomato?
No, I do not.
Okay, my husband doesn't like tomato. My son doesn't like tomato. So I feel like I should save my tomato and eat it fresh on the day we have the hamburgers. So I'm just going to put the tomato away. But that's also the enjoyment of this plan. It's up to your making, your liking, it's individual. Okay, it does call for some chopped frozen bell peppers. I think it's calling for the frozen because they're going to stand up to the bean liquid, the jalapeno juice. They're going to last a little longer.
Danette has asked, where did we find the cup of cilantro?
You know what, Danette? We have a Kroger. And over by where they have the mushrooms and carrots that are packaged, there are some hanging bags of parsley, sage, marjoram, thyme, and I saw these little cups of freshly chopped cilantro. And they hold, I don't want to lie to you, I don't know how much they hold, but I'm eyeballing for a quarter cup serving of the cilantro. They also had fresh chopped thyme, parsley. Okay, this is looking really good, King. So now I need to add some seasoning. It calls for olive oil, obviously. It calls for lime juice. It seems like the palate in the Smith household is very much a citrus or even a Hispanic flavor citrus. So, because it seems like everything is calling for cumin and chili powder and cilantro, and so you can see where our palates lie. Oh, the one thing that we do need to put in though, to give it that little tang that we need, is balsamic vinaigrette. I'm going to use the dark balsamic. There's a light balsamic, but I am using dark. I'm going to add a little squeeze. And then again, I am not salting anything. We're going for heart healthy, diabetic friendly, so no salt. We are going to go with some chili, some cumin, and it calls for a teaspoon of sugar. So let me put the chili powder in. It doesn't call for very much chili powder at all. Again, better that you let your spouses and your guests put their own shake of cumin or chili than that you overdo it. My mother cannot do spices like cumin and chili. So, this is my cowboy caviar. It calls for a little bit of salt. I'm not going to add it. It does call for a chopped tomato in there. I'm going to add the tomato the day we eat it. And it calls for sugar. I know I'm diabetic, but it only calls for a pinch of sugar. I am going to add that pinch of sugar because otherwise I'm afraid it would be too acidic. So a little light pinch here, a little light pinch here. That little bit of sugar over 6 servings of caviar, where I'm only going to get like maybe a half cup serving, maybe not even that much, is not going to throw my insulin off for that day. So it's all in knowing your health, all in knowing what you can and can't do. I have it in a glass container. I find that when you add acids like lime juice and balsamic, they save better in a glass container. Sometimes in the plastic containers, you can see a little bit of discoloration. We're going to put this in the fridge.
Joe Sarvis says hello and
Hi, Joe.
from Florida.
And on the day that we do that caviar, we are going to cook. And remember, if you're a fresh jalapeno person, instead of pickled, then you chop a jalapeno and add it to that caviar to your taste. On that day that we do that caviar, we're going to grill our hamburgers. We're going to put cheddar cheese on them. I'm going to eat mine in an iceberg lettuce cup with my cowboy caviar poured on top. And then the rest of the family will probably have 2 burgers each, and they're going to eat it on a bun, and they're going to have their cowboy caviar, and then we'll put out some fresh carrot sticks, some celery sticks, and some ranch dressing. But we are not going the French fry route. It's just not healthy for my family. They can eat French fries when they eat out at McDonald's. So we have 1, 2, 3 meals done. We only have half an hour left to get 2 more meals done. So before I do the chicken, I want to do the bean soup. There is a disclaimer I need to make on the bean soup, and it's my fault. I could not find at Kroger dry cannellini beans. The soup is intended to slow cook for 10 or more hours using dry cannellini beans. I couldn't find them, so I went with canned cannellini beans. So it's really going to be a very quick cook in my slow cooker on that day. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna work.
You're going to work. Why don't you stop in the screen, say hi to everybody, and tell them you're going to work? You don't want to do that, Charlie? That was Charlie letting us know he's off to Taco Bell. Wait, Charles, what's your new special?
Huh?
What's your new special? It's $5 for a...
$5 nacho box.
It's called the $5 nacho box. And he tells me it's 3 times the size of Nacho Bel Grande, and it's like steak fajita meat and the nacho cheese. What else is on it?
You can also substitute any other meat.
You can also substitute any other meat, but he is on his
cheese,
way off.
1 green scoop of beans, 1 finger of free cheese, 1 pico, 1 thing of sour cream.
You also get pico de gallo on it and sour cream on it. Again, we are rinsing our beans with water because we want it to be Happy Father's Day, not Happy Father's Day. And then I am going to put these beans in the Ziploc bag. We'll see you what time about. Okay, safe, please. Drive safe. Are you driving?
Yes.
Okay, drive safe. So we have the cannellini beans. It's going to go in the slow cooker now for 2 to 4 hours because I didn't use hard dry beans because I couldn't find them. But it's going to be okay. And the flavor profile, again, you're going to recognize as that Smith family flavor profile. It's got frozen chopped onion. So we like a lot of onion and garlic and bell pepper in our house, which is probably why sometimes Charlie has some epigastric distress. Susan has some gastric distress. All right, so we have frozen chopped onion. We're going to put 2 bay leaves. If your bay leaves come out and they're brown or yellow, then they probably aged too far. But if they still come out in the mid to light green range, you're okay. Also check the use by date on your spices. The single biggest investment that I have made in this plan is spices. And I never knew what good spices were until I discovered 5 dinners in 1 hour, and they introduced me to the joys of minced garlic, paprika, cumin. Not allspice, because allspice seems to distress my gut. But basil, cilantro. It calls for some rosemary, some thyme. Because it calls for a combination of Italian seasonings, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of Italian seasoning, just a little. I am going to put some separate rosemary in because rosemary has such a fragrant flavor. I know that sounds weird. Fragrance is smell, and I just said flavor. But you can tell when there's rosemary in a dish. You can also tell when there's thyme in a dish. These are both excellent spices for soups and stews. All right, so we are all set. I know that it seems like maybe that is not complete, but it is. We are just going to do, if you want, you can add a Parmesan cheese rind. I talked to the woman at the cheese shop at Central Market, and she said that they save some of the rinds. Sometime you can ask for them. But a Parmesan cheese rind would be the husk off the end of the cheese, and you would put it in there while cooking so that it departs some flavor, some spice. It also leaves behind some of its flesh to make it a chunkier soup or a thicker soup. So this says that we're going to cook it on low 4 hours. It says to cook longer, up to 10 hours if you use dry beans. Now, the last 15 minutes of cooking, you're going to add heavy cream. That's heavy whipping cream. Don't whip it to a whipped cream. Just pour in the heavy cream. And you're going to add Parmesan cheese. Then when you go to serve it in a bowl, you can top it with a little bit of creme fraiche. And if you are not watching sodium like I am, you could put, I could imagine this so much, you could put crumbled bacon on the top and it would be wonderful. So we've got our tangy spicy pork, we've got our shrimp, we've got our Tuscan bean soup, we have our cheeseburgers with cowboy caviar, and now we're going to make that last dish, that dish that we were inspired to do by going to my parents, and we're coming full circle to prepping for seniors in your life and your household. So how do we prep for seniors? We're going to make 6 servings of the crunchy Parmesan chicken. If I was home with my folks, we would cook part of it to eat. We would bag the other portions. We would freeze one, or we might cook it and then refrigerate it. So for lunch, they could have a crunchy Parmesan chicken sandwich, or they could have a piece of crunchy Parmesan chicken and they could slice it in nice long strips and put it on top of the salad. But right now, King and I, we're going to prep it in this glass dish for tomorrow night's meal. I don't want to break it, King. These lids are stubborn. I have arthritis in my hands, and sometimes it's very, very stubborn. All right, so you need a shallow dish for prepping. And in that shallow dish, you are going to put Parmesan cheese. This is an excellent, heart-friendly, diabetic-friendly meal. This is because it has no added carbs from breadcrumbs. So, the Parmesan crispy, it's called crunchy Parmesan chicken. Calls for Italian seasoning, garlic powder. We're going to add that garlic powder now. We're going to add that Italian seasoning. This is another staple that I buy large size. In addition to that fresh chopped or ground garlic, minced garlic, Italian seasoning. Okay. And then we did the garlic powder. Did we do that, King? The garlic powder? Yes. It calls for salt and pepper to taste. Again, we're not doing salts in this house. People can salt their own food. I want to make the meal as healthy as possible. I will add the freshly ground black pepper. Then it calls for a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Now, I know that Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise, but Miracle Whip is the preferred dressing in my household. King, I might have to have you pull this off. My arthritis isn't letting me do it.
Got it.
Thank you for your help, sir. Thank you for your service. Pull as hard as you can. There you go. Pull up. Oh, it's not hard. It is hard, huh?
That is pretty.
All right, let's use a knife.
Okay.
Let's use a knife. Good. I don't feel so bad. I used to feel really bad when that happened to me and I couldn't do it, thinking I was the only one that was happening to. King Charles, you've been studying literature now for a while at Stephen F. Austin. So what is your favorite? What has been your favorite poetry, political science, nonfiction reading, or fiction reading like Nathaniel Hawthorne or?
Close. I'd say Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Oh, I like Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Very in his own place with nature.
He is. And when you study him, do you also study Walt Whitman?
Yes.
Which one? Was it Walt Whitman that wrote Leaves of Grass?
It was. No, yeah, it was Walt Whitman. I was thinking the other name you said.
You were thinking Emerson.
Yeah.
Okay. We were also talking the other day how one of our favorite authors is Stephen King. And we had no clue just what all he had written, because we did know that he writes under the pen name of Richard Bachman. So the Bachman novellas and the Bachman short stories. I'm just adding a little more pepper to the chicken.
Jenna has asked, what are we making tonight?
Okay,
Again?
Jenna, we made tangy grilled pork chops, and those pork chops were in like a citrus seasoning base with, all I'm doing is dredging my chicken cutlets in mayonnaise. Those pork chops were in a citrusy base, and they also have orange juice in them. Then we made one pan fajitas. Those fajitas were a Mexican seasoning. Oh, King,
Yes.
I missed an important part. Can you do it? I'm going to have him spray the pan so that they don't stick. And then we made Tuscan bean soup for later in the week, for more for lunches. We made cowboy caviar to serve with cheeseburgers. I just wanted King Charles to spray this pan. This is such a heart healthy, diabetic healthy, any kind of illness you have, really. If you can't have the mayonnaise, that's a different matter. But think about this. We are not coating this with any breading of any type. All we are doing is dipping it in mayonnaise, and if you want, you could use your light mayo. Then we are putting a mixture of Parmesan cheese, Italian seasoning. Then you're going to cook these. You're going to bake them. I was just talking about how these are chicken cutlets. Chicken cutlets are great for seniors, even for middle-aged people like myself, because they are thinner cuts of meat. They're very uniform. When they package them, they put 4 or 5 in a package, and they're cut to the same size, so they're going to cook at the same speed. They're thinner, so you can cook them for 10 to 12 minutes or until done, instead of cooking a big chicken breast or chicken legs and thighs for, 25 to 35 minutes. So you can cook them for a shorter time. And then the last thing about them is they are economically a much friendlier hit for our middle-aged and senior pocketbooks. What I mean by that is, I got a large package, and this is only half of it, that had 10 cutlets. So I put some in the freezer, and I kept the others out. And the package of 10 cutlets was about $7. I don't know about you guys, but usually if you buy a package of 4 chicken breasts, it's anywhere from $7 to $10. And in some states and in some other countries, I heard that chicken goes at real premium, so it could be $12 or $15 for chicken breast. So again, we are using mayonnaise as our sticky. You could, if you're not a mayonnaise fan, you could easily use egg wash or an egg yolk. We are putting them in here. They're going to cook for 10 to 12 minutes on the day that we cook them. I am not cooking them today. It is Dale's day, and Dale asked for tangy, spicy pork chops. When we serve all of these, I will serve either a orzo, some kind of a pasta, or some kind of a rice for the 3 men in my life. I myself will do all of these meals with a side salad or a vegetable. Tonight we'll be having some steamed and baked zucchini, and that's because I'm going lower carb. Everything we made here today, the tangy spicy pork chops, the 1-pan shrimp fajitas, the Tuscan bean soup, the crunchy Parmesan chicken, the cowboy caviar that we're going to have later in the week with our grilled cheeseburgers. Everything here is 5 dinners, 1 hour meal program. The link is above where I introduced my video. I took it further today. I made sure that I removed all sodium that was in the additions in the recipes. We used none of that salt. We did use a sprinkling of sugar on one of the dishes, but that was deliberate to offset the acid. So thank you for joining me. King Charles, Charlie, and I are working on a YouTube channel. I already have a couple of videos out there. My YouTube name is Unshakable Susan Smith. That's UNSHAKEABLE. Unshakable Susan Smith. Those of you that know some of what I've experienced in the last 3 to 5 years know that that name was chosen because I'm hoping for more guidance, intervention, support from family, friends, and from my God. I just know that in God all things are possible, and in family and friends even more is possible. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.